Ramadan, the Muslim holy month, started at sunset on Monday, October the 4th. 5 days later came the devastating news of the Asian earthquake. As they prayed and fasted, many Muslims in Luton also waited anxiously to hear from family and friends in the region. For Sultan Mahmud, the news is not good.
My brother-in-law's wife, she's from just outside Muzaffarabad, from an area called Bagh. It's been confirmed already that there's at least 30 dead from her family.
At the Call to Islam Centre, Aftab started collecting money to help, and volunteers are being signed up to help raise more funds.
Yeah, there are quite a few Kashmiris from Luton. The family have been affected, and there's few people in this mosque here. Some of the family members have died as well back in Kashmir. Yes, so there are apparently 4 million people at the moment. At this moment, are homeless without food, water, shelter. So we're doing as much as we can, trying to get the money. Thank you for the earthquake, brothers. Assalamu alaikum.
My mum was there, but on the day I got hold of her after about 4 or 5 hours, so it is a bit worrying. But she should be hopefully coming tomorrow, but we don't know what's going on yet, because there's a lot of damage happened in all the villages and the cities and the towns. There's a lot of villages that are completely wiped out, and aid is nowhere to be seen because these are remote villages up on mountains, and the transport links have been destroyed. So we need to appeal urgently to the public that they can donate as much as they can, because the people are in need. People are homeless, and it's the month of Ramadan. It's the month of charity, forgiving people that are poorer than us. We need permanent donations and charity giving for a long time to come. So because lives have been shattered, a lot of people have died, and millions have been left homeless, and it's a very sad situation. And we're living in England, and we contribute as much as we can.
This week, we continue to follow some of Britain's strictest Muslims as they observe Ramadan, as they fast and break the fast, both in Brixton and Luton. And can Muslims have more than one wife?
Western society has a problem accommodating polygamy. Not so much of a problem accommodating adultery as polygamy.
Just 3 weeks before the start of Ramadan, Abdul Qadir was in the English countryside playing paintball with a group of youngsters from Luton. It was all part of an ongoing project to keep youngsters out of trouble and away from the influences of the extremists. A few days later, Abdul Qadir had flown out to Saudi Arabia to visit the holy sites of Islam. After visiting Mecca and Medina as a pilgrim, he went to Jeddah to meet a friend, Abdul Haq Baker, one of the trustees of the Brixton Mosque.
Long time, huh? MashaAllah. How you been? Welcome in, MashaAllah. Welcome to Saudi Arabia, Jeddah. Come this way, inshallah. MashaAllah. How's everything? Okay, good.
Rashid is getting ready to fly out to Saudi Arabia. He has a job as an English teacher. He'd been expecting to leave after Ramadan, but the paperwork has come through quickly, and he is due to leave any day.
I got a phone call from Abdul Haq a few hours ago. Got the contract. I've got letters of confirmation that I'll be working with them, and it's to give to the Saudi embassy. Abdul Haq's basically told me that our accommodation has already been arranged.
Excellent.
And he'll be looking after me, showing me around, introducing me to people, introducing me to the people of knowledge, many of the scholars in Saudi Arabia. He's also told me that there's some nice places to take your wife.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's next week, so the earlier the better, I think. It's just the lifestyle, the whole lifestyle, I don't know, yeah. It's very difficult to practice here. It's very difficult. It's very difficult, especially when you are wearing the hijab, and it doesn't really affect me, but when you see not a lot of people are wearing it, and it's very different. You feel very different. You feel, they make you feel bad.
A friend of Rashid has told him men must dress appropriately too.
He was telling me that his colleague, he was wearing shorts which are higher than the knee, and he was stopped by the police and asked to wear some shorts or some trousers which go at least to the knees, because from the belly button to the knee is considered the private parts of the man.
earlier on, I passed by Toys R Us.
That's right. You know what? You can have the best of both worlds here.
Yeah, seems
best
like
of both worlds.
Yeah.
As a person who was a non-Muslim coming to Islam, there was many things which I thought, right, that's a bit, a bit harsh or a bit strict. But when you learn the wisdom behind it, either you learn the wisdom through reading about it, or you learn the wisdom through experience, then you learn to appreciate more of the rules, and you sort of understand it. And so now some things which can be seen as strict or extreme, I now am traveling to Saudi Arabia to experience more of it.
Now the atmosphere is nice here. Like now we're getting ready to close our fast and everything, and the atmosphere, everyone's doing the same thing.
Fasting here is so much more easier.
That's right.
Than fasting in England.
It is. Ramadan here is a lot more easier because everyone's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, look, now we're heading back to open their fast.
That's right.
Where I'm going to be staying is a half-an-hour drive from Mecca, which is the holiest place in the world, which we consider, which we believe in Islam. So I'll be going there, meeting many people of knowledge, and generally the atmosphere is more Islamic.
When drivers hear the sunset call to prayer, they pull over to break the Ramadan fast. It's traditional to eat a date.
I like the way they live there. Maybe for other people they think that's very strict, but for me I like that strict. I wouldn't say it's strict, but I like that strict way. The ladies are actually wearing niqab, not necessarily the actual face cover, but at least they're wearing the hijab, and most of them are covered, so you won't actually feel weird.
Rashid and Aisha go to get their jabs. In Britain, a covered Muslim woman is conspicuous.
They look at you like you're so weird, or so you're not a human. Some people actually think I'm Asian and I can't speak English.
The bottom line is that this is something that I feel is quite small for me to do for my Lord. It's an act of worship. It's like praying for me. I don't do it to make a fashion statement. I don't do it to, to look different from other people necessarily. My main object is to worship my Lord, because the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, they used to cover like that. And it's just a higher level. That's what it is, really. It's not an obligation. Obviously, the scholars differ, but as far as I understand, it's not an obligation. It's something that I felt I could do that was more. It's like praying extra prayers. It's like fasting on days when it's not obligatory. It's like giving extra charity. That's what it's like for me.
I take it off when I'm with the sisters, when I'm at home. But if there's any men that I don't know and men that are not related to me, then I don't take it off. I go outside with it. But if I'm at home and there's men here, then I wear it.
It's a privacy, and obviously not everybody wants that privacy, but I think once you've had a taste of it and parts of you have become private, it's very hard to make it open for the public again. That understanding that I'm not just an individual that's being judged by my brain or what I say. In this society and in most societies, my looks are coming into the equation.
Rashid has had his jabs. He's going to Saudi first. Aisha will join him later.
Got my jabs, one in each arm. Aisha's going to get her jabs tomorrow, and my medical report I'm going to have to pick up as well tomorrow.
Next, we meet Louise, one of Latifa's students. She's observing Ramadan for the first time.
I haven't been brought up with any religion at all, and just started looking into it for myself through books and things. Went to the mosque for the first time last November.
Rashid's mother, Latifa, teaches a class of new Muslim sisters. Louise, twin sisters Rima and Rasha, and her daughter-in-law, Aisha.
These are actually my students who I usually teach on a Friday. I teach Islamic studies. They come to me every Friday and I give them Islamic studies, and I teach them, and if they have any issues, which they've had a lot of issues about Islam and about women in general, which I can clear up for them, then I have been able to do that. And today we cancelled the studies because they want to have a cooking class. So Louise is actually going to be our chef for today, and I'm going to cook haldi. It's actually chicken with a yellow sauce.
Will they be tempted to eat as they cook before breaking the fast?
We don't actually have a problem. We are very strong. We have good iman, very strong iman. So inshallah we won't be tempted to eat it while we're cooking it. And I'll keep a special eye on these now, just talking. I'll keep a special eye on you, so make sure you're not speaking anything. No, but inshallah, when you're fasting, even if you want to eat, you couldn't. Because you have that, the niyyah, the intention to fast, it's for Allah. We love Allah too much, so we don't even have the idea to want to taste it. So even if you want to have a big feast, you can have a big feast. It wouldn't have any effect for Latifa at all. And as I am their teacher, I will make sure I will give them the strength they need for themselves.
Ramadan is a time for the family. Kuram and Yasmin in Luton have 2 daughters and a 3rd child on the way. It's not compulsory for children to fast, but Armani likes to try.
I broke it and started again.
I broke it and started fast.
Yeah.
You had your lunch, didn't you? And then you fasted until 5 o'clock. And then you got hungry, so then you had something.
I don't know what Mummy.
Yasmin is disappointed not to be fasting.
I can't actually fast at the moment because I'm pregnant. Obviously I understand that I can't do it because obviously there's some, I have to consider my unborn child and everything, but it's a real shame because you do actually really miss fasting. I think a lot of non-Muslims can't understand how Muslims actually enjoy going without food, but it's actually, such a special time to actually be involved in Ramadan, and when you're not actually fasting, it's very, very difficult to get that feeling.
It's a nice feeling after you're eating and then you're just eating one day and then drinking. It just is enough.
When you're fasting, you just feel as if you're in sort of like constant worship near enough. You sort of, everything you're doing, you just feel as if it's, there's a purpose behind it.
Latifa's class moves through to the kitchen.
I'm going to try and not speak unless I have to next week.
Okay.
You'll be pleased to know, yeah. Because one of you are going to be cooking it next week, inshallah.
Okay.
Yes?
The meat has to be halal.
Halal is, meaning the animal has been slaughtered in a certain way. So it's, halal is permissible to eat.
So just basically just rub
just wash it nicely, that's it, yeah.
Rashid's wife Aisha is going to Saudi with him, but will he miss his mother's home-cooked food?
Absolutely, well I've taught his wife everything she needs to know, so hopefully he will feel that he's still at home.
Yeah.
Aisha has worn the niqab for 1.5 years, but when will the new students start covering?
Yeah, the more I practice, the more I become really strong in my men, and obviously I've got to change obviously my lifestyle as well. So slowly I'm getting there, just learning more about the Qur'an and eventually, next stage will be covering up.
But why delay?
There's a lot of things that's more important apart from wearing the hijab. Obviously prayer and learning about the Qur'an, it's all just as important. So it's just learning everything properly really, and eventually put it on.
I so wanted to wear it and so wanted to be recognised as a Muslim, and for me to go out as a Muslim and dressed how I felt that I should be dressed in the streets and everything. So it's still difficult. It's obviously it's a difference, it's a change, but at that point in my life I just wanted to do it so much that I was quite happy to do it, and once I did it I couldn't take it off.
I've made this decision. No man has influenced me to make this decision. It's not for my father or for my husband or for my son or for any other male in my family or anybody else. It's for my Lord, and this is something that I do as a woman, and you have to be strong to do it. It's not a weak woman who takes the decision to do it, because especially in our society and in many others, including Muslim societies, this is not the norm. It is something that's frowned upon. It is something that closes doors to you, and therefore the strength of character that it needs is something that people don't often take into account, because they assume you were forced anyway, and if you weren't being forced then you wouldn't have done it.
I think when you know the hikmah, when you know the wisdom behind why Allah has told us to do something, when you understand that, when you fully grasp that in your heart, you can comprehend that was like crying in the make and sleep, everything's bismillah. When you understand the hikmah why Allah has commanded us to do something, when you comprehend that hikmah, then you feel in your heart ready to accept it. And it is a big thing to cover for the first time, and I know from my own experience, it's a big deal to actually cover, and you're very self-conscious about yourself.
I wasn't wearing the niqab first, I was just wearing the hijab, like Latifa, how she wears it. And then I started reading up on the niqab. It's actually optional, but I actually prefer to wear it. So I decided to wear it, and I like the wisdom behind it and all of that. So
we all have to take steps gradually, and you know, Allah knows best when they are ready to take that next step, and I believe they will take that step, definitely.
New Muslims and young Muslims have much to learn. Not just how to dress, but how to pray and how to prepare for prayer. Armani explains the ritual washing, wudu.
Then after that you wipe your hair forward and back and do all the way round your ears. And then you wash your feet up to the ankle, make sure every part's wet, and then you do it 3 times. And then you do the same on the other foot.
Latifa's students, Rima and Rasha, cover their heads for prayer.
Every drip that drips from your wetness is actually one of your bad things you've done is going away. So I think that's why we wash, and it's like washing, so we've done something bad and then we're washing it all away. It's like we've gone in the mud and then we're having a shower and it's clean away.
Latifa teaches them how to pray.
Because they are just learning, you see, so yeah, so wait until and cover your hair properly, inshallah, yeah?
What we do, we just dry it, otherwise we slip. And as well, I think it's you're allowed to dry it, but make sure you actually try to get most of the water on the floor, so most of your bad deeds are washed.
For Louise, it's her first Ramadan.
Zaini, just before Ramadan started, did I actually know how to complete my prayer properly? So now I can complete my prayer properly, and yeah, just in time for Ramadan. I haven't been brought up with any religion at all, and just started looking into it for myself through books and things. Went to the mosque for the first time last November, and which is where I met Latifa's son, Abdul Rashid, and he then put me in touch with Latifa, and about 3-4 months ago started having lessons with Latifa to just sort of learn and just generally, yeah, just see what I think to it, and yeah, and it's beautiful, it's lovely, very nice.
Armani puts on her headscarf, but Rakia is too young to join in. Then it's family prayers.
Sometimes it's hard to put into words, but I think the word that probably most often used is the peace and security. I think at the end of the day, you know, it feels like only yesterday that I was a 5-year-old, you know, like my daughter, but today I'm now, you know, in my 30s, and life is so short, and I feel like there must be something at the end of the tunnel, you know, so to speak. There must be, you know, some purpose to our life. And I feel that this gives me the security and the peace of mind and the ability to go on with life, and give me confidence in life, and, you know, with the security that there is going to be something better for me. So we can deal with the hardships in this life, knowing full well that, you know, we'll be at ease in the hereafter, inshallah. Sometimes she does take part, but
then she walks away in the middle of it like that.
She gives up halfway through.
It's fine, kids just sort of run
Yeah.
backwards and forwards and just take part when they want to and stop when they want to.
No, that's kind of like the
We don't want them to enjoy
practice
Islam.
though.
We don't want them to, you know, because when we were younger, it was taught with a bit more strictness, and it kind of put us off. Well, me, myself, I can speak for. So what we're going to do is make it fun for the children, so that
When they grow up, it's easier for them, and you can do a little bit now, but when you get older and older, you have to do more. So it's like fun, and then more, and more, and then you just have to do it all the time.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
right.
more, then more, then more, then more.
My parents were traditional Asian parents. They weren't particularly religious. I think they focused more on education than religion itself. And that took a second place, but they felt they had a duty to send us to the mosques and to the environment there, and the imams at the time, they had a very traditional way of disciplining children. If you made mistakes, you'd get, you know, a good wallop, or so that, you know, really started we see it as a form of punishment, having to go there. It's something we didn't want to do, So in that sense, it may not have put me off Islam, but it certainly deterred me as far as a significant period of my life, until you grow up and you start to study Islam for yourself, and then you realise that the true message is completely different to what you were being taught as a youngster.
You don't want to always concentrate on the fear of it or anything like that, so that's how we've always wanted to try and bring our kids up, so they actually love it, and then when they get older enough, they just want to do it because they understand it so much.
You just take your time, and when you get older you learn how to do them, and then that's when you have to do them, so you can enjoy it in the life when you are small, and then when you're older you can do it, so it's not hard for you because you find it boring because you've already learned how to do it and you've done it for ages, and when you're older you're like, I don't want to do it. So it's fun for you, and it gets exciting when you actually have to do it.
She actually goes to the local Islamic school, which I think gives her a lot of confidence. She's with other Muslim children, and she really understands a lot about the Islam, and she's very happy to be a Muslim, and she enjoys it. So yeah, there's no forcing.
With our children, obviously they know, about Ramadan, and they often don't fast until they're, a little bit older. But I think we have to teach our children or the younger generation to appreciate what they have, because if we don't, then they take it for granted, they're ungrateful, and they abuse what they have. So I think that that's something, even if people think, oh, why are you doing that to the poor child, give it to him. It's something that through that hardship, the ease is to follow, but also you get something much richer and something much more important afterwards. So it's not a deprivation at all. They have loads of fun during Ramadan because all the adults are nice to them.
So now we're going to put it on. Is it running?
The meal has to be ready in time. It's a race against the clock.
It's 6 o'clock at the moment. We have 27 minutes. You drink water, and then you have dates, and then from there, have soup, and then maybe after, you go and pray the Maghrib, which is the other prayer, and then you eat.
Next, breaking fast at Brixton. But will the main meal get there on time?
We've only got we've got about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes now until it's getting dark already, so it's near enough time.
At the Brixton Mosque, preparations are being made for breaking the fast. Traditionally, the Ramadan fast is first broken just before sunset prayers, with a date and a snack. The proper meal comes after the prayers. Latifa puts the finishing touch to her Moroccan dish.
In Ramadan itself, it is very exciting because everybody tries to get together as much as more than what we do normally out of Ramadan. So basically making an effort for Ramadan. And I used to make Scottish soup, and then I share it with quite a lot of people because everybody love it in my area. So it's more fun when you've got a lot of people around as well, especially for the younger generation.
Ibrahim Walker is waiting with friends at his flat before collecting food from a local restaurant for the Brixton Mosque's main evening meal.
This is the time where we sit down and reflect upon the day and how it went. Did we actually do justice in this month of Ramadan? Did we do justice in this day? Pray our 5 odd prayers. Did we read any Qur'an? Did we make any dhikr of Allah? And towards this time is when we would normally make dua to Allah to forgive us. So it's a time of reflection. Once we take the food, we head quite speedily down to the mosque because people will be sitting waiting to have the evening meal. We'll break the fast probably with a light meal of some dates and water and something like that, and then after the prayer we will then gather to sit down and enjoy what's been provided today.
Except within a family, men and women normally break fast separately. While Latifa entertains her students, her son Rashid is with male friends for a meal. Rashid married Aisha a year ago. Both decided to get married and then asked friends to find them a partner.
When I decided to get married, I told my parents, but I particularly told my auntie because she knew what I wanted and what I was looking for. in a brother, like a husband. So she set out to look for a brother for me. And when she heard of a suitable brother, she told me about him. And he contacted my stepfather. And we arranged a meeting.
Marriage, firstly, is half of one's religion. You can perfect your religion by marrying.
Marriage in Islam is very different from the West.
It's very, 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 very different. But you know, I think as a mother, you have to take your role seriously in educating your children on how to be a father. And I think that's why Islam most probably falls short. You don't have that foundation in the house to follow the Islamic way of life. They follow their traditions, so they are not, even when they're making their marriage vows, they're doing it with wrong idea about what is marriage in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He really doesn't like marriage breakups.
The first meeting is very general. You get to find out about her, about what she likes, what she doesn't like, what she expects from me as a husband, what can she offer as a wife, and her likes and dislikes and so on and so forth.
You have to be sure that that's the right person. You have to take as long as you need to make sure that you want to marry that person. And you have to check that there's going to be a connection there between the pair of you, that there's going to be chemistry. That's the word, yeah, chemistry.
It was very exciting. Although you're nervous, it's actually very exciting as well.
The actual wedding, the actual nikah, the consummation of the marriage, I came from Birmingham to come here to the mosque so that we have a person that will marry us, and my family came and his family came, and we got married, and then we went out for dinner, and then we came back here. We stayed here for a little while, and then I had to go back to Birmingham to get ready for my actual party, which was 2 days later. It was segregated as well, so it was really nice. Yeah.
There is the issue definitely of he's the head of the household, and there is definitely the idea in Islam that because he's the head of the household, Allah will ask him on the Day of Judgment about everything that happened in the house. So if there is a situation where it's, you know, you say one thing and you say the other, you discuss, you debate, you come to whatever conclusion, but as the head of the house, he has the final say. So that can be hard as well. But again, it's another thing that you do it because you're a Muslim, and not because he's a man or because he's anybody else, but because you're a Muslim and you trust in the wisdom of Allah and you trust in the wisdom of the laws of Allah. And the submission is not in tyranny, it's not in oppression, it's not in sin and transgression, it's upon good.
The sisters, they have to know what their role is, and so do the men. They've both got to know what their role is, and from that they know what sort of husband they're looking for and what sort of wife they're looking for.
Islam gives the man the opportunity, the permissibility, that if he desires and wishes, then he can marry up to 4 wives. No more, but he is able to have 4 wives. But also again, it is, there are certain also rules that also govern this type of lifestyle, where a person who desires to have more than 1 families. As for relationship outside marriage in Islam, that is completely forbidden and deemed and looked upon as a crime against, or deemed as a crime, and there's even a punishment that is attached to it.
Western society has a problem accommodating polygamy. Not so much of a problem accommodating adultery as polygamy, although polygamy is something which acknowledges the nature of the man and of society as well, including our society, but doesn't let the man get away with just going with his desires. Okay, a man may be in his home situation, he may be unfulfilled in certain ways. In this society, what do men do? Get a top shelf magazine, go into a red light district, go and watch a movie with his friend. Muslim men can't do that. They're not allowed to do that. So in that particular instance, for instance, you've got a situation where, okay, fine, if this is a genuine need that you have, fine, but you're not going to get it without the responsibilities. You're not going to get it without the consequences. So if you are truly ready to take on another responsibility, another set of bills, another whole emotional scenario, then fine. Whereas in our society, it's like, well, you're feeling a bit, het up. There are lots of different ways for you to explore that. In Islam, there aren't. There are many women as well who would prefer to be in a polygamous relationship than a monogamous one, because they want time to themselves, or they want time to concentrate on their children, or they just don't want a man around all the time. I think a lot of women could deal with that.
and we see in the society, a lot of we call children without not knowing who their fathers are. Right? So due to these things, Islam does not allow relationship except within marriage.
Obviously the dynamics, the emotional dynamics of polygamy are a lot more complicated, which I can't go into because I'm not in that situation. But the rules about it are meant to ensure that everyone is given fair treatment and that everyone is respected. That is what's meant to be. What happens on the ground, unfortunately, is not always the case.
But Islam, it gives it a more honorable position by requiring that a person has to marry this woman in a legal form, Islamically. And she has rights upon him as he has rights upon her. And there's duty that both has to fulfill.
Time is ticking by. Ibrahim Walker is picking up the food to take to the mosque. He'll be too late to break fast at the mosque, but he hopes to be there in time for the main meal, which he's collecting.
It's tight. Should be a quick rise.
But then again, we don't have to take it there for them to break the fast. It just has to be there afterwards, after they finish the prayer. As long as the food's there, then people are going to get, a bit irate if there's no food.
Yasmin, Kuram and family are on time. At the Brixton Mosque, Hussein waits with the brothers for the sound of the call to prayer. Then they can taste food for the first time since sunrise.
Shortly, the call to prayer is going to go. When the call to prayer is sounded, then people will start to break their fast and so forth. They have a little bit to eat, and then they will go and pray, and then come down, and most people have something proper to eat. It's a mixture. I think they've got apples there, donuts. They normally break the fast with a date.
Ibrahim and friends are cutting it fine.
So as we drive in the car, the prayer, the fast will come to an end. So we break our fast in the car. So we brought down the dates, something to drink. So when we get to the mosque, we will then have to pray. We're going to get there late, but no problem.
We've only got like, I don't know, we've got about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes now until it's getting dark already. So it's near enough time.
Kuram, Yasmin and family are ready.
I do like dates though. They're quite nice. Hello!
The Prophet Muhammad SAW, he used to break his fast with dates. So, most Muslims will break their fast with dates. And it's actually very, very nice thing, first thing to eat after breaking your fast. Because it's got the sweetness and everything.
Are we booking that fast?
The first bit of water I've had for a good 12, 13, 14 hours. And I'm not too fond of water, but when you've been without it for a while, it's not a better drink you can have.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح.
At Brixton, they've started eating.
It was nice after not eating from before and after sunrise, so it's nice, isn't it? It's a nice feeling to be with the brothers, to eat. You've all gone through the same thing, you haven't been eating or drinking,
Latifa looks at the clock.
What time is it?
I think it's already past.
I think it's already past, so let's go and break the fast, inshallah. Okay, you wash your hands, inshallah. Bismillah.
The mosque is actually absolutely packed, and he just recited surahs from the Quran about the next life, about how Allah is going to judge us, to be nice to your family, we're only here to worship God, and so forth. And it's quite emotional because what happens, some people actually cry when they hear, because it's like direct revelation from God. Yeah, it's not just about abstaining from food or drink, it's the way that we conduct ourselves as Muslims as well. It's a reminder for us. And in fact, for Muslims, Ramadan is for us to attain a level of God consciousness, to remind us that there is a creator. Somebody did, we were created. So it's about that. It's about to get closer to God. So to use that month in a constructive manner in that regards. And the way you do that as well is also to remember the creation as well. Other people who are less fortunate than you. So we use that month. It's a very spiritual month in that regards.
I think the purpose of fasting is for you to give you time to contemplate. It's not just about the hunger and thirst. It's something that's prescribed for all the religions before us, Christianity and Judaism. So we're just following in that tradition. And it helps you to be more God conscious because you realise how dependent you are and how weak you are if you don't have the basic sustenance which we believe is provided by Allah. And if that was to be withheld from us, we'd be in a very poor state. So in that sense, it is a reminder.
They're all set and ready to go.
Ibrahim Walker's food is now packed. Next, why does Allah allow earthquakes to happen? And counting the days to Eid. Ibrahim Walker arrives at Brixton Mosque. He's in time for prayers and he's bringing the main meal of the day.
The initial part of the fast has been broken, where, as I said before, we would start with some dates and water or milk, and now we will have a main meal of, I think today is rice and chicken.
Latifa's meal is cooked. Some sisters do go to the mosque, but they have a separate room and entrance.
So we always feed them first of all, and then we get fed after. Or we take alternate turns, one for them, one for us. We knock the door, leave it on the table, and they will come and retrieve it in the cell.
With the sisters, there's a safety there. I think there's definitely, we're on a level with each other. We respect each other as sisters, we love each other as sisters, literally. And we are free to be ourselves, and we're not worried about anybody misconstruing our body language or thinking that we were going after her husband or giving him funny looks and all this type of thing. So that aspect is, in terms of compensation, that aspect is taken away. And also you find that because the women are by themselves, like I said, they're more at ease, they're more natural, but also we have to, if we want intellectual conversation, we have to do that. Whereas I know from my youth, women never did that. That was men who did that. We have to do it amongst ourselves. If we want to discuss the news or the economics or start a business, we have to find those resources within ourselves.
The sisters are next door, we've got the brothers here. Throughout the evening, up until Isha, we'll be feeding them as they come in numbers. So it's an ongoing process.
Can I hold it?
No, you can't hold it for you. You should know better than that. Some father do that, like some father.
Yes, the Prophet ﷺ, he did it with his fingers. It is a sunnah to eat with the fingers. Because we are non-Arabs, we find it very difficult to anticipate that practice. I don't know why they all got separate plates, I thought, for the salad, but they've all took their food as well. But usually we actually eat for the one plate. We obviously didn't get practice of that either. But when we eat from the one plate, it's actually very important that we all have table manners. Really, it's not to be getting up your elbows or being not eating. You've got to have to quite adab to eat.
Every day before their evening meal, Yasmin, Karam, Amani and Rakia follow a family ritual, counting down the days until Eid, the big celebration at the end of Ramadan.
It was just a little countdown to Eid. So every year they just make a little paper chain, 30 links, and when it comes to break a fast, they just take one link off, so they can physically see how long they've got until their Eid day.
Let me get a chocolate. No, you don't get a chocolate, get a seat.
We try and make it fun for the children, so we normally tend to get presents for them. And sometimes do little games and things like that. Sometimes the community we do a little party maybe for the children as well.
And we have a big dinner.
It's always a family event as well.
We always have family. Every single day, we're just friends, and we go to the mosque to pray. It's a prayer called Eid prayer, isn't it? And you start with Allahu Akbar, but actually you go like that, and then you do actually 7 of them. So it's kind of special, and then you go and sometimes you meet some friends, and maybe you just go and then family come around and you just stay till the evening and probably stay
Eat
late.
lots of food and good time to
just
enjoy yourself.
Enjoy.
At Brixton, they've started eating the chicken and rice. Yasmin has been told this year's Eid could be a very special day.
Yes, baby's due on Eid day, so it's going to be the children's Eid present this year. We said no presents, we're teasing them, there's no presents. The baby can be their present this year. So we'll see what happens.
Abdul Qadir from Luton is in Saudi for Ramadan. With Abdul Haq Baker, he meets Muhammad al-Maliki, a respected preacher who has visited Brixton and Luton.
How are you been?
Alhamdulillah. How's things going? Good, inshallah.
Good, good.
How's everybody there in Luton?
Very well. I heard about all the good work you're doing here as well. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah. We're doing some Quran. The brothers are attending the duroos and
Latifa has just heard news from Abdul Haq Baker in Jeddah, who's offered to look after Rashid when he arrives.
Because I had sent Abdul Haq an email asking him to, look after him basically. So Abdul Haq said he's going to take sole responsibility for Abdul Rashid. He's going to take him to do Umrah when he gets there. And although Abdul Rashid's got his own accommodation until Aisha goes there and joins him, he's going to actually be living with Abdul Haq. So that's actually good, isn't it? Yeah. Abdul Rashid looks up to Abdul Haq anyway, so he's actually a good role model. So excellent, that's good news, isn't it? Thanks.
I think one of the problems Abdul Qadir, mashallah, Muhammad can clarify this, that so many people are trying to accuse Salafism, or Salafism as they're calling it, of being the guilty group for jihad, the takfir and the wrong understanding of jihad. And they bring Osama bin Laden's name in. Now you are Saudi.
Yeah.
Please, can you just, for us, explain this problem, how we can deal with this problem?
Well, the thing that people need to know in the West, that we know here in Saudi, that none of us believe in Saudi here, especially the students of knowledge, the scholars. Nobody believes that bin Laden is the right representative of jihad. First of all, he has lack of knowledge. He was an engineer who, in a period, decided to be a practicer of Islam. He left his beard, he wore his beard. But the thing is, he didn't sit to any of the scholars. In Islam, we have to be under leadership, which is not somebody who is assigning him to be a leader. I am your leader, like what bin Laden, Zawahiri, Abu Qatada, what's his name in Iraq, Abu Hamza, and this guy in Iraq, Abu Mus'ab al-Zarqawi doing. No, this is wrong. And the couple of ones who were in Saudi and gave instructions for bombing here in Saudi, they are all not known to be students of knowledge.
In Luton, Aftab and Faiza Khan count the money from that evening's earthquake collection.
We collected a fair amount yesterday, really, there's a really, everybody sort of contributed really.
Well, earthquakes, we know they come from Allah as a punishment and a trial. Anything that, you get tested with, your loss of wealth, loss of family, loss of property, it's all from Allah. And as a Muslim, we believe that, it's there, for some people it's a punishment for their sins and misdemeanors, etc. But for some people it's a test.
We got news back maybe about three or 4 days ago, in fact, just probably a day or two after it happened. My brother-in-law's wife, she's from just outside Muzaffarabad, from an area called Bagh. It's been confirmed already that there's at least 30 dead from her family.
So you can't question that kind of thing. We know it's from Allah.
So, that's we accept that, but then it's up to us as, human beings, whether you're Muslim or non-Muslim, to help people in times of calamity. So it has that knock-on effect for people like us here in the UK who can afford to give charitably, give money. It's a chance for us to purify ourselves by giving our money and our wealth. and our time and effort.
We've got two brothers already in Pakistan at the moment, and they're working on a plan now. And also 2 brothers from this masjid will be flying over by next week, early next week.
I think when you have an understanding of the religion, or you're comfortable with the religion, you don't ask these questions why. We all know that one day we're going to die. The only one thing I can guarantee to you today is that one day you're going to die. One day I'm going to die. So I think we all know that this is going to come. How it's going to come, when it's going to come, we don't know. So I don't look at it as fatalistic. It's a realism. It's realistic. Therefore, we have a purpose in life while we're here, and we need to try and fulfill that. Whether they're Muslims or non-Muslims, it doesn't make a difference to us. When the tsunami happened, I think it was a very similar reaction from a lot of us as well, that we tried to collect money, we tried to help those in need. Even when the incident happened in America, with the flooding happening in America, again, it was the same kind of reaction. I think though, however, when it's some kind of connection, as in you know people who are directly affected, I think it hits home a lot harder.
Next week, why Salafi Muslims don't have mortgages, and who or what are the jinn?